Kings, queens, and in-betweens, welcome back to another episode of the City Boys. My name is Jacob, and that is my homie Grayson, and today we are going to be breaking down the Montreal Club de Foot versus the St. Louis City match that took place this weekend, where St. Louis were victorious with a 2-0 scoreline, first victory in a long time. But before we get into that, Grayson, how are we doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Just got home from work. I had some Qdoba, and I love Qdoba, so I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great.
I'm a
And
Qdoba stan.
I got this amazing cup here. I know Jacob has some good memories about this too, but this cup is the reason I love soccer to this day. Was
Wow.
this day Chelsea versus Man City back in 2012, 2012, 2013, May 23rd,
Damn.
all because of that.
Damn. You had just turned 14.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
had I, because we almost share a birthday. Um, yeah, Edin Dzeko played in that match, had a goal. I think
Yep.
Aguero had a goal.
Yep. Um, I'm trying to think who scored for Chelsea because it ended 4-3.
Yeah.
Chelsea had three in the first half, and City bounced back with four in the second. It was crazy.
Did Hazard
Um,
score in that match?
we had just acquired Hazard, so I don't think he actually played in that match. But we had Juan Mata. We had. Did we have? No, I don't think we had Fernando Torres just yet. It's been a while. I need to
Yeah.
revisit that game.
Cesc, Fabregas.
Fabregas. It was a good
Who was
time.
in sticks? Was
Tim
Petr
Cahill.
Cech?
Yeah, we had Petr Cech, and then we put in. We switched up goalkeepers at halftime, and that was our downfall.
Mm.
It was rough. It was rough.
Well, unlike that match, City didn't really have a downfall in this match. We were able to keep a clean sheet, which I think is pretty huge
Massive.
considering the season we've had of just conceding goals after we've scored them. And there were a couple close calls in this game where Berkey stood on his head. So did Follow Fall.
Yeah, Fallu Fall literally saved the game with his
Yeah.
noggin.
Yeah. Um,
But as you had just mentioned, this is St. Louis's first clean sheet in a while, and I'll tell you how long. It's been 20 matches since we
wow.
have kept a clean sheet. Isn't that insane?
Wow.
Kind of hurts my feelings a little bit. But I'm very happy that, we had a great performance from our defense tonight. Kessler, Falu, um, Padelford, and Vollum all played fantastically, and Roman very well earned this clean sheet. He did a
Yep.
great job. He shut down Owusu. Owusu had a lot of good chances, but Berkey was there to shut down all of them.
There was the chance from their other striker. I can't think of his name right
Uh,
now. Number 11 had a crazy shot
yeah,
that Berkey saved.
Ivan Jaime, or
Yes.
yeah, he had one rocketed that Berkey stuck his arm out, really strong hand, pushed it onto the crossbar. Beautiful, beautiful work.
Yeah. Yeah. So lots to cover from this match.
Yes,
Let's get into it. You've got our lineups this week.
indeed. I do have our lineup. We have another Critchley 11 here, and we're starting to lock down our back line. As I had mentioned last week, we do have a little bit of a shakeup up front. So from back to front, we got Roman Berkey in between the sticks. Great performance once again. Right to left, we got Conrad Vollum. I've really enjoyed him as a right back. He started on the complete opposite side of the field, so this is a new look for him, and it looks really good. Uh, we got Kessler in the middle with Falu Fall. Seems to be the center back pairing of the future. Very excited that they just keep getting minutes and keep, learning each other's uh, game. We got Paddleford on the left. We got our midfield duo of Leuven and Durkin. I'd say an improved match from Durkin. We've been harping on him a lot. He did better this match. Still not perfect, but nobody is. We've got our attacking three. We're playing a 4-2-3-1. So attacking three. left to right. We got Celio Pompeu, another great match from him on the left. Only thing that could have made it better is a goal or an assist, but I liked what he did. We had Marcel Hartl in the 10, Song Bin Jung on the right, and Jiao Klaus up top. Got we had four substitutions this week. We had Alfredo Morales come in for Durkin. We had Mikai Joyner come in for Song Bin. We had Brendan McSorley come in for Pompeu. And then we actually had a new player alert, Seth Antwi, making his debut for St. Louis City, coming into the midfield for Leuven in the 85th minute. So he got to play out the final five plus extra time. So yeah, I was pretty happy with that. Jacob, how'd you feel about this lineup?
I liked this lineup. It's getting closer to, I would say, our best 11 sort of lineup. There's been more consistency out of Critch with the back line. The only real plug and play that we're doing is still with that like attacking midfielder line with who's playing this week. Is it going to be Ostrick in the 10 or is it going to be Hartel in the 10? Didn't see Ostrick in this match, unfortunately, but we did get a good game out of Celio, which is kind of the trade-off between those two players. Because if Ostrick's going to play, Hartl's got to go to the wing, Songbin's on the right. I mean, Celio gets dropped. Or then you do the reverse. Celio's going to be on the wing, means Hartl comes into the middle. That means Ostrak gets dropped. But the back, what's that, seven has seemed to be pretty consistent since Durkin's
Yeah.
come back from injury, which I've really appreciated. And I think it also shows in the fact that we have gotten our first clean sheet in 20 matches with keeping that consistency. And because we won this match, there's not a ton to complain about from the starting 11. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true, true. Nobody had like a just absolutely awful performance. There were a couple moments like where we're still not completely on the same page defensively, that resulted in Prince Owusu getting a couple of really good chances, but Berkey was there to mop it up and make those errors not seem so bad. Um, I think for me, this is kind of moving on into the match review. This game is another one for the Klaus haters. Immediately, you're saying, "Where's Klaus's goal?" This is one of the worst teams in the league. But hey, he earned a man of the match performance with two assists, even when the keepers seem to be blocking all of his shots. Soroy had a pretty decent game, honestly. He had a lot of really good stops. But even when Soroy's blocking the shots, Klaus is creating chances for Hartl, and doing really good. I have to give credit to him for this first chance because a beautiful take on beats his defender, gets crossed up. He decides instead of taking the shot to lay it off to Hartl, and there the play kind of falls apart. But St. Louis does well to keep the pressure up, win the ball back. This is year one St. Louis right here. High pressure, earn the ball back, recycle it onto Vollum. This gets crossed in, and City keeps the pressure up. It's just a really good play there. Eventually results in Klaus getting a chance. It gets blocked, but it falls straight to Conrad Vollum, who much deserved gets his goal for St. Louis City. Just perfect slotting to the bottom left corner, um, which is something that I was harping about last week. It seemed like we had a million chances, 43 in total.
Yeah.
Uh, but none of them were far enough to the bottom corner, to the top corner to beat the keeper. And this was just pick your corner, put it there. Keeper can't do anything about it.
And I would say this came on like our third chance of the match because we had the cross where Hartle heads it too far down and bounces it out
Another
of bounds.
another good cross from Vollum there.
Yeah, which when that started, I thought, okay, this is going to be last week all over again. We're just
Yeah,
going right back to crossing the ball.
right.
But then that interplay that you had just alluded to, and then it falls back to Conrad Vollum for the slot. It was like, all right, we have built off of what we failed to finish on in the last match and actually tucked this one away. I want to give props to Klaus and also to Conrad Vollum. Conrad Vollum earned a Team of the Match Day um, award, I guess, for his play in this match. I mean, he had a goal and defended his ass off for what, like 60 minutes. He had a couple lapses in judgment that didn't come to a goal for Montreal, but
Yeah.
anyways, I don't want to take away from his award. But the assist that Klaus got on the second goal for Hartle, if Hartle hadn't scored, I'd have been shouting at my television because in the early parts of the season, when we would try to be too cute on the ball and we would flick the ball way too much, we would end up turning the ball over. But this was a perfect little behind the foot little flick on for Hartle to just take and slot it away, which I don't have to yell at my TV because we scored.
Oh
But
yeah.
I am a I'm a purist when it comes to the game. I would rather see perfect technique worked around and then slotted home as opposed to a fancy flick here or there that may or may not work.
And this one worked
It did work.
easily, easily, no doubt about it. We had a lot of good looks in transition this week. I think we are playing against a weaker side than most of the teams in this league, so it's going to be a little bit more of an open game. But it was still close. I mean, I think it's important to say that this game was a lot closer than 2-0 makes it seem. But this was like an extremely important must-win match for St. Louis City here, not only to keep us in the playoffs, um, but or keep us alive in the run for the playoffs, but two, to prove that we aren't the worst team in the league. And hopefully I've seen a little bit here and there, but it looks like we are starting to put together um I wouldn't necessarily a run here, but some good form. We're creating chances. We're not always scoring them, but we're creating chances and we're working on it. We're building something. So I feel pretty good.
I think the result of this performance goes back to what we had talked about a few episodes ago when we were dreaming of a playoff run, and your concern was those equal to lower teams on our schedule of us being able to pull those games out. And the importance of actually being able to go away to a lesser team and leave with all 3 points has been something that City has struggled with this season, and taking this victory is a step in the right direction and one that can kind of put that worry for me as an armchair analyst to bed that like, okay, when we have these lesser opponents, we can get the job done.
Yeah. Not only that, but also to do it on the road
Yeah,
has been, a struggle of St. Louis. Luckily, we got it out of the way with an early away win this year.
we
So
just never followed it up.
we just didn't follow it up. So it's good to show that, we can go to someone else's house and steal their cookies, Those are
Yeah,
them bitches are ours, okay?
all three of those cookies.
Mine. Uh this is a little bit of a question for you because
Okay.
um, I feel like I haven't shown Marcel Hartle a ton of love this season. I think he's just been quietly good. Um, I saw people once again only weeks ago debating whether Hartle is worthy of a DP status, not just in St. Louis but in the league. Uh, with this most recent match, he's brought his goal tally in all competitions to 7. He's only got 1 in other competitions and 4 assists. So that's 7 goals, 4 assists. That's not bad. That's 11
So
goals total.
11.
11 in all comps. Do you think that is enough to, kind of quiet down the thoughts of moving on from him as a DP?
I think he's worth the DP spot just as a starting point for what I'm about to say. I think he's worth a DP spot. I also think he has not been bad this season.
That's
Hartle
true.
hasn't been our issue as far as scoring goals or not scoring goals. He, for the most part, has played 90 minutes damn near every single game. I actually don't know if he's been subbed off at all. I think he actually leads the league in minutes played. Um, Someone
He
fact
does
check me
not.
on
No,
that.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Don't worry.
But yeah, I don't think he's been the problem. However, I understand the shouts of like your DP center attacking mids production needs to be a lot higher than 11. It needs to be somewhere in the realm of 15 to 20. And there's still a little bit of season left, and he could catch fire. So it's still in the realm for him to do that. But yes, I think he deserves the DP spot because with going into next year, I think he's going to be an integral part of the team's success. He is one, two, three, four, five, sixth on the list. He's played 2,670 minutes, and the top three players are all tied on 2,700 minutes. So he literally has a half hour less than the top three, and two of them are goalkeepers. And then the other is Adilson Malanda, the center back for Charlotte, has played
Okay.
every minute of every single game. Marcel Hartle, this isn't telling me how many. Actually, he's been subbed 0 times.
That's crazy. That's a crazy stat.
Subbed 0 times. Game started 30. I don't know how he's a half hour less minutes played then. That math doesn't make any sense to me.
Looking at these stats, something that immediately jumps to mind, uh, some stats that were startling to me was last season, St. Louis led the league in fouls and yellows. And this season, we are far off that tally. Um, so we got some room to spare. Get aggressive. Get some yellows, guys. Let's go.
Yeah, just maybe not in the box or stupid
Yeah.
elbows, thrown red cards.
Yeah, we might
You
have
know.
dropped down in the yellow card number, but we have jumped up in the amount of penalties conceded. We are third
Yeah,
in the league in penalties conceded. So,
yeah, that's tough.
yeah,
And I think we've only saved one, and it got called back to then get taken again.
jeez.
So,
I don't even want to think about that.
but you answer your own question. Do you believe Marcel Hartle deserves the DP title?
So, we've given him obviously his first season, his first 13 games, he was incredible. And then this season, definitely a step down in terms of output, but in terms of quality, his quality has not dropped. Um, I do think we at least give him one more full season as a DP before we look at potentially moving his contract around. But I mean, in terms of quality, I think he's a great person to have on the field. Um, and he's only 2 years removed from his best season ever in terms of output, where he had 21 goals and 14 assists, which is
Yeah, that's crazy.
absurd. Uh, so I think Hartle is capable of putting up numbers like that, but it's going to be a while.
So
We got to
in
build a
his
lot.
9 matches that he played in the MLS last year, he had a 10 goal and assist output. Had 3 goals, 7 assists in 9 matches. So in 9, 18, 27, in triple the amount of games plus three, he has only added one more goal and an assist to that tally, which statistically blows, but still doesn't change my mind on if he deserves the title or not.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think a lot of those games that he scored in last season, there was a lot of games that we were fighting for playoffs, and then after that, it just didn't matter. We were just playing to for pride at that point. But Hartle's performances gave us hope at the end of the season. last year. And I think he's still capable of bringing hope to St. Louis City, but it's just once again, kind of like in this interview that we just listened to, it might just be a little bit too late. I think it definitely is a little bit too late. We should have bounced back earlier, but we can't really just say that. Um, there's a lot going into that. But what I was just alluding to, it was a little shocking because yesterday it was reported there was a little bit of tension in the training ground, a little trouble on the training ground, and it was a lot of very um,
Yeah.
vague tweets and stuff about,
No one
oh
was saying
yeah,
anything.
there was a lot of tension on the training ground and it was crazy and it seemed weird. Like no one would say what we're talking about. Critchley got interviewed first and actually sounded really positive. He really put me at ease with, where my mind was at. I was like, oh, well, we're screwed. Not just as a team, or not just for this season, but as a team, we're starting to lose it. But what Critchley had said was, he actually felt very positive about it. Yo!
I wanted to make a surprise appearance and say
That's a
hi.
good
I'm
one.
sorry to interrupt, fellas.
No, it's all right. Welcome to the show.
I'm
How are you
parched
how are
here.
you feeling?
I'm feeling good. The Spalding women's soccer team just won 4-0. Get in there.
Heck yeah. That's awesome.
But if y'all thought I wasn't making an appearance on a win, y'all had me up. I just wanted to come in here and give the Montreal Impact kit a rating, even though it's probably not that
We're not
times
there yet,
long.
but yeah, we
Go
can.
ahead. Go ahead.
I'm going to go for a very average 4.5.
Okay.
And
That's fine.
I loved Marcel Hartel's performance in this game.
Okay.
That's
Um,
yeah, that works with what we were talking
Producer
about.
Ethan, reporter Ethan from outside Spalding's practice grounds. What is your take on the tiff that took place at practice that was reported yesterday?
So I got to be honest, I really appreciate the team still showing intensity at this late stage where we're basically mathematically eliminated from playoff contention. Despite that, the guys still care enough to give their all in practice. And as a person that's been on a team where there's been that competitive flair in training, generally they leave it there on the field. If I had to
Mhm.
guess, Roman and Celio were probably making up and hanging out, maybe not hanging out, but shaking hands after training or off the field. Like those kinds of tiffs usually stay on the ground. And so that's kind of what I'm expecting. I'm hoping that it'll galvanize the team a little bit. And based on Critchley's comments, I think that it will do that. I still love the intensity.
Yeah, I mean that's very well said. Uh, I felt the second interview was with Celio Pompeu,
Mm,
and um, basically what he was saying is it was just pushing each other to get better, and we know what we're looking for, and how to improve, and it's intense. They're bringing intensity to training,
that,
and your emotions can get the best of you, but yeah, I think it's very positive, the reaction from the players in this situation. Not only that, um, I really appreciated how it was handled with the media. Like nobody really knew until City came out and told us that it was Celio, and Celio talked about it himself. Like Critchley isn't name dropping players in that interview. It was just kind of kept in house until Celio came out and cleared things up himself, and I think it was just handled really well.
I personally think a good team is going to have those spats of competitiveness between two of the top players on the roster, and that it's good for the locker room to see competitive intensity from two leaders going at it on the training ground. Even in a time where they're not playing for anything, it sets a standard to hold everyone accountable, even when they don't have anything to play for going into next season when there's everything to play for, pushing the pace like that. I've been one to talk shit to my own teammates before out of being competitive, and that's kind of what I attribute this to is two top dogs talking shit to each other, pissed off about the results that they've had this season. Got a little maybe boiled over too far, but just like Ethan had said, they're probably cool now. It was just training ground stuff. And in the locker room, they're dapping each other up, showering next to each other. Hey, can you scratch my back? I'll scratch yours. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's hilarious. And as a person that's been on the receiving end of some of Jacob's ribbing for to get the best out of you, it does happen in that competitive environment. So I'm not going to read too much into this. I don't think it's too big of a deal. And like I said, I like the intensity. Thanks for that amazing question to tap in on.
Of
Yeah, that's
course.
exactly what we were talking about when you picked up the phone.
All right, gentlemen, I'll let you get to it.
Yes.
I appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir.
If
Drive
you haven't,
safe.
don't forget to subscribe at this mid part of the episode. And don't forget to tell your mother you love her.
Yeah.
Peace.
Love you, Art. All right. Anyways,
Yeah. Who's that goober?
no, we actually have 10 minutes
Left.
left.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Kit Clash. I think it's a perfect time. Ethan
Yep.
just gave his rating. He actually gave a pretty poor rating for what I think is actually kind of a clean kit. Jacob, I want to hear your thoughts.
I think it's clean. I also think it's pretty standard. Like it's a nice kit, but it didn't blow me away. Kind of looks like something that I would wear like on a golf outing,
Hmm.
but nothing too crazy. I think it would go great with like a really shiny chain. It's got a pretty nice blue color to it. Anyways, because we've only got 10 minutes, I won't harp on it too much. I'm gonna give this an even 6-7.
I hate you. Um, I actually do like this kit. It is, kind of the the Montreal Impact kit that's just what their kit is and always has been and probably always will be. Vertical lines, blue and black. But having seen this kit in person, it just looks really well done. Up close, it's just really good quality. For me, I'm gonna give it a 7.2.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
fine. I think the colors really work well together. People always say you can't wear black and blue. Montreal said I could.
Yeah.
Um, so I trust them. Uh, yeah, not bad, not bad, Montreal, not too shabby. Looking into the final fixtures for St. Louis City, we've got 4 matches to go, and we've got a very winnable game coming up next. Um, this is a team we faced earlier this season, and we did beat them. And I think, were you at this game with me?
Who's the opponent?
The opponent is San Jose.
Yes, I was at that match with you.
Yeah.
That's
Uh,
where I was convinced that the harder I cheered, the more likely we would come away with a victory. And Simon Betcher taking a dive in the box proved me right.
it was massive. It was massive.
It also
Uh,
wasn't a dive. He was clearly fouled in the box, but
we had a Klaus goal, a Leuven pen, a uh, who is that? Josef Martinez
Martinez
goal, and we
shushed
actually,
us.
I totally forgot that Vollum got a red card in this match.
Per Was it early? No, because they were
It
defending.
was ex
They were defending the
it
north
was
end.
96th minute of the game.
Yeah.
Game ended a minute later.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
For
I mean,
kicking the ball away. That's what his red card was for, kicking the ball away.
that's some bullshit, dude. No one
Yeah.
should get a red card for kicking the ball away, except
Um,
for anyone that's not on St. Louis and already has a yellow. You shouldn't get a straight red for kicking the ball away. Let me
it
put it
probably
that way.
should be a yellow, yeah.
You didn't get a straight red.
A time waste yellow,
Yeah,
not a red.
especially
Yeah.
that late in the game. There's no
You
point.
got a prediction for this game?
I am going to stick with the score that it was last time. I'm going to go with another 2-1 St. Louis City win. Two back-to-back wins would be massive for morale. I'd feel very good.
Okay. I'll go 3-2 City
3-2.
W. Two
Okay.
back-to-back away wins. I don't think we'll get back-to-back clean sheets, and I'm not going to copy you and go with the same scoreline. So I'm going to go three
Okay.
to two. I
Um,
don't think we're good enough to grind out a 1-0 win
Not yet.
against this high caliber of an attacking team. You know what I'm saying?
They've definitely slowed down a lot this season, from like their beginning of the season form.
We also
Uh,
faced them when they didn't have what's his face?
yeah, they didn't play Arango,
Yeah, he was on international duty.
or was it Espinosa?
It was Arango, Christian Arango.
Okay. Well, either way, I'm gonna be expecting a full side San Jose. Let me see if they got any injuries or anything right now.
While you do that, I'm gonna pick my goal scorer. I think he's due again, and I haven't picked him in a long time, but I pick him every single weekend we submit our STL charity pick. So I'm gonna go with Klaus to get a goal
Dang, I was gonna say Klaus because he scored last time. So since you said Klaus, I'm gonna go Leuven.
from a set
Uh,
piece.
I'm not gonna say from a set piece because I want Leuven. I want a rocket from Leuven. I don't want no set piece. I want
You want a
open play.
red Leuven rocket? Okay.
Um, I will say, San Jose does have some injuries, and I'm actually disappointed in one of them because
Who's one
I
of them?
really wanted to see DeJuan Jones
Ah,
back at the park so he could sign my Panini
we
card.
should be away. I think we're playing them away.
Is it?
Yeah, we played them
Uh,
at home already this year.
yeah, dang. Whatever. I'll mail it to you. Uh, we got DeJuan Jones, Nick Lima, and Reed Roberts are the only
Friend
injured
of the show, DeJuan Jones.
friend of the show, DeJuan Jones.
Check out our Instagram.
Let's see. They're they most recently they just lost to LAFC and geez, I keep wanting to say they lost to San Jose. They
They
lost to
probably would.
They probably would. They lost to LAFC, Austin FC, and then their last win was against Houston.
Okay, so they're probably going to be looking to get a W from this match. That's
Yeah,
probably the vibes from them is this one's going to be easy.
I think both teams are thinking that about each other,
I
honestly.
hope we're not thinking about that about anybody.
I don't think either of us are thinking this one's going to be easy.
They might be. Okay, we've got 2 minutes left.
I
Just
mean,
a couple
San
grab
Jose
bags.
blows.
Couple grab bags. Shout out Marcel Hartle for being pregnant. Shout out Seth Antwi for getting his call up and getting minutes. Um, Shout out JGR. He just got loaned back to the club we bought him from.
Interesting, but I guess we're not going to give him the minutes he needs right now. So in my mind, this is a good move. We'll give him the minutes, and we'll hopefully get to see what kind of player he will become, and he'll return even better. So I'm
Yeah,
excited for that.
I don't hate it either. Kind of a young guy to be making a pretty significant life jump from Auckland to St. Louis. He did come here when he was just 18 years old. He's turned both 19 and 20 since being here. Because he got here like right before his 19th birthday. That's how the math works.
Ah,
Um, so it's probably not terrible for his like not saying he has any mental health issues, but his mental health to be back home with his family, getting the minutes playing the sport that he's a professional in. So I don't hate it. I would like to see him back in a St. Louis kit though. I liked what
oh
I was
yeah,
seeing from him when he was playing at center back specifically. So hopefully it is just that year-long loan and we get him back and it's a JGR, follow fall, Henry Kessler back line.
that'd be pretty nice. That'd be pretty nice. Well, that is going to be it from us this week. Thank you guys for tuning in. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Blue Sky. We're all over the place. So tune in, give us a good rating, say hello to your friends. You gotta love it. And last but not least, don't forget to tell your mother that you love her. I love your mom. My mom
Love
just
you,
had
Mom.
surgery and she's doing great.
She got that
Kicking
knee
butt.
surgery. There's three people on this pod that have had knee surgeries.
We're back. She's ready to go. She's gonna play for City.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she'd be a demon at CDM.
Oh yeah.
STL, 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 STL.